One day, two underwater friends, a fish named Wanda and a crab named Clam, were playing catch with a beautiful ball. This ball was an enchanted ball from the mystical realm known as Bolero. The crab, taking his eye off the amazing ball momentarily, dropped the wondrous ball and in anger would not toss the fantastical ball back to the awaiting fish. The fish, dumbfounded and perturbed, retorted in disdain.
So selfish.
His name is Ed, and he's got a cooking channel. It's edible Ed. He's gonna cook some good food for you.
Welcome to an all new episode of Edible Eds. Thanks for coming over this week. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to see your beautiful eyes over at my house. On this week's episode of Edible Eds, we're still under strict quarantine. And because of that, my mom is still in town. My mom is still in town.
Hello.
My mom is still in town. She's repping her Edible Eds swag, corn on the goblin. Are you repping Edible Eds? Check down below to see where you can get your very own Edible Ed merch. Mom, what are we making today?
A Guyanese dish, dal and rice and saltfish cake.
Wow. So Dhal is basically East Indians version of refried beans, but since we're from the Caribbean, we have our little spin on it and our own flavor components that we add to the mixture. And saltfish cake are basically salted cod. They salt they salt the fish as a means of preservation. And my mom makes little cute little fish cakes, and we eat it with rice and the dal. So it's kind of like your protein, a little bit of that gravy per se, and some starch from the rice. It's, again, I say this every time, but it is really one of my favorite things my mom makes. It's delicious. It takes a little bit of time, and you need these ingredients, but if you have them and you have the time, you will be paid handsomely with a delicious dinner. So Mom, let's get cooking, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get this awesome recipe going. My mom's got a pot of water on the stove, about medium heat, dumping in about a pound of yellow split peas. Now we're gonna add some flavor components to the split peas as they're boiling. She cut up some parsley. She's cutting up some onions, throwing in some whole garlic cloves, some oregano, and remember all of these, some rosemary, and all of these things, once the split peas cook for about half an hour, 45 minutes, they boil, we're gonna be putting them in the blender, so everything's gonna blend until smooth. She has some salted cod into chunks. She's gonna boil this, change the water. Once it comes to a boil, change the water. She did it about 3 times to remove all of that salt, so you just have that delicious fish and not like heavily salted flavor. So that was the trick here. Just let it come to a boil, drain the water, fill it back up, come to a boil, drain the water. It's a process, but it's worth it in the end. Once the fish is nice and fork tender, she's gonna add some potatoes into that mixture. Let the potatoes come to a boil and be nice and soft. As those are boiling, We have our split pea mixture going into our blender. This is what I was talking about earlier. All of those delicious ingredients are going to be blended until smooth. Traditionally also, my mom put some habanero pepper or spicy chili into this, but since Emma Bites is going to be eating it, it has no chili pepper. In another pot, she has some sliced garlic cloves and some onions and some oil frying. We're going to get that super caramelized. This is going to be added to our smooth dal. Look at that. Oh, so delicious looking. My goodness. Those onions and garlic cloves look caramelized and delicious. She's gonna add that to the dal. That's the final step, and just kind of warm it up on the stove. Your dal is done and ready to eat. If you could, I wish you could smell what this smells like, but oh, it smells so good. Now on to the saltfish cake. She has the saltfish and the potatoes nice and cooked. She's adding some parsley and some onions and egg to bind everything together. And it's time to mash everything together. You want a texture of mashed potatoes here. Once you get that perfectly smooth, almost creamy texture, she makes little fish cakes, dusts it in some flour, and it's ready to fry. We got some peanut oil through about 350. It's gonna be a shallow fry. It's gonna cook about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Remember, it's already cooked. You're just crisping the outside, so it's nice and crispy on the outside, super creamy on the inside, and you're done. Plate it with some rice. Look at that. Oh, my tummy is gurgling because I want to eat. So delicious. Let's eat.
It's time for some Ed and Granny bites. All right, here we go. Oh, that fish cake is so crispy. Oh, that dal is so creamy. Oh, and that rice is so fluffy.
Mmm. Delicious.
Mmm. Like I mentioned, that fish cake is so crispy on the outside, but it's so creamy on the inside. That dal with that caramelized garlic and onions, it gives us so much flavor. It's so good. And this is another perfect example of Caribbean comfort food, because we all need to be comforted right now. But definitely try this recipe out at home. You'll be so happy you did, because you'll have, it's like having my mom come into your kitchen and cook for you. You're so lucky. Thanks for watching this all new episode of Edible Ed. Thanks, Mom, for making awesome food and visiting. And my dad's off camera. Thanks, Dad, for visiting. We love and appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We will see you here next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Who's ready for some Emma Bites?
Me. But look at my dress.
Wait, that's not Emma. That's Queen Elsa. Who's ready for some Queen Elsa Bites?
It's me.
Oh.
She's a cooking mastermind. She's sweet, friendly, and kind. It's Emma Bites.
Because my sister is in Ellendale and I'm in Notmouth.
You're in
That's-
the Enchanted Forest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Both different.
Anna?
Yeah, Anna and Elsa. Both and Elsa. And even have long wings. If you want to have my ring, you can have it.
No, that's okay. You could keep your ring. Thank you, though. Ready?
It's a heart.
Oh, because I love you?
Yeah.
Okay, here we
I'm
go.
ready. Yummy! I don't want to hold it first because I might freeze it. But
Does it taste like Queen Elsa?
rice and starfish.
Dhal and saltfish cake.
Whoa.
Is it?
Look like cake.
Yeah, it's little balls. Is it crispy?
It's crispy in the outside and juicy in the inside.
Yeah.
And soft in the inside too.
Oh, it's like creamy? Because there's potatoes on the inside. So it's like there's mashed potatoes on the inside.
Love you. Bye bye. Wait. Oh, Lord. Never mind. Bye bye. Thank you, Granny.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you next week.